Happy New Year. Good New Year. Had a pretty fun time with the day off. Just mostly playing video games with family. It was a gamer New Year. We had it's cool. It's video games are not a thing that I view as, I don't know, they seem like a waste of time, but on some level I know they're not. I haven't really explored that yet, so I'm perfectly comfortable in most cases with my kids having tons of fun with the video game. Indeed, I grew up with video games, simple ones. We didn't have all the advanced stuff, but I had a Game Boy in my hand for a lot of my childhood, and it sparks interest, and it sparks creativity, and that's what media and entertainment is supposed to do. It's supposed to spark that creativity, not replace it. The other thing is, like, your mind gets into some of these things in very interesting ways. I'm also very interested in how children learn, or not even learn, just intuit. And that's probably part of why I'm so interested in Alan Kay and how he developed his Alto and Smalltalk. He developed it's not all him. A lot of other people did a lot of very good work. But they focused on kids and that potential that's in kids. And people understand that if you take a baby from America or a baby from China and you put them into another country, they'll grow up and learn that language. They'll pick it up. So when your language is video game, when your language is user interface, then you have the potential of learning the language of technology, learning the language of logic. I guess. I mean, it depends on the game. There's a game called Robot Odyssey, I believe, and I think you can play it at robotodyssey.online, I think. But it teaches you circuit logic, in the medium of in the context of a video game. And it's kind of a fun, interesting game. There's a little bit of recursion going on in there, and it's interesting, and it's a little mind-bending to think about. Anything that really stretches your mind is of value in some way. I have that Nintendo DS that I repaired, and I got an R4 card for it. I figured out what the corruption is. I'm pretty sure that the R4 card version that I got is a clone, and the clone version uses like a Chinese format of FAT32 or something. There's some Endian difference in there. So if I take that card out and plug it into a computer, it corrects that mistake, that file corruption, apparent file corruption. And after that file corruption is corrected, it can never be used again by that DS. So it seems that the correct thing to do is to never unplug it. So I'm basically preloading the card and not expecting to pull it out and then change stuff and back it up and add games and remove games and then put it back in. So it's kind of at a stasis right now. So that's just fine though. So I kind of preloaded it with, this is all ancillary. Never mind. Anyways, it's playing Golden Sun Dark Dawn? Yeah, Golden Sun Dark Dawn. And this has an interminable intro. The Golden Sun series is great. It's really cool. There's a lot of interesting, moderately challenging puzzles in it. And my son was I kind of played the intro. He selected the game on accident. Normally he just plays Mario and the mini games that are in there. He's 4 years old, but he got into it. And he's like, "What is this game?" Okay, well let's go through the intro. And I read him the intro, and Golden Sun series is a little long-winded, but it's still a very good series. So as we made it through the intro, I pretty much just kind of played it for the first 3 minutes of the game until they actually started, fighting and doing stuff. Got through the intro sequence. And then I was like, "Oh, sorry, bud, I gotta go," or something, and I left him with it. And he was moving around and fighting the dudes and winning and advancing the plot, and he played it for like 5 hours, which is when I just checked on it yesterday, and it said, this is Gage's game, and it said it had 4 hours 55 minutes on it. And I'm like, and he kept coming to me, he's like, "Hey Dad, I don't know what to do, this boulder won't move." And I'm like, "I don't know, I've never played this before." And I had to kind of run around and talk to people and figure out the user interface and be like, "Oh, you have to use your magic power, your synergy right here." He's like, "No, I did that." I'm like, "Really? Try it and none of it works?" And I'm like, "I actually don't know, bud, but I'm kind of interested to know how far you can get without me helping you very much." And so he kind of went back at it because I was doing something else. And it's, my daughter got into it because she's 6, almost 7, and she saw him having fun with it, and she's like, "Well, I want to play it too." And she opened it up and was like, "What is this? What is that? What's going on? I don't understand. Someone help me." And Gage was, just doing stuff. TM, Troy Fletcher, 2019. He figured it out, and he sat down with her, and he's like, "Oh no, you have to go over here. No, pick this, and then pick that, and then do that." And he's like explaining it to her, and I can kind of picture the interface in my head. So, it's kids. If you have a good interface, it just works. It's obvious. I hate to say it again, but that video, doing with images makes symbols. There's a clip in that video of this 2-year-old girl operating a paint program and drawing on the screen and making shapes that she wants to make. And when she's done, she saves the file and opens a new one. That's the potential. That's what we have here. So I saw a couple people running, but not as much as I would have expected. Normally I am like, well, I've always had kind of a natural, what do I call it? A proclivity, a personality trait, I guess. I have a tendency toward resisting things that are popular in any way, and that's not necessarily a good thing. I mean, it's served me in a lot of ways, but to acknowledge that there's a little bit of self-importance in there, or a little bit of ego in there, to be like, well, everyone else might be doing it that way, but I'm doing it this way. Boom. Yeah, mic drop. They're like, "Yeah, we're talking about bathing, dude." Like, "Yeah, well, Benjamin Franklin just took air baths. Bathing is good." Yeah, I guess. There's a limit, obviously, and with all this New Year stuff, I like I said, I've got the gym. I'm trying to operate the gym more often, or operate myself at the gym more often, and I'm like, "Oh man, gotta get to the gym before New Year's, because everyone else is gonna get there at New Year's." It's like, so shut up, just go, man. You do you, worry about you. And if you can't get to the gym before New Year's, then you'll get to the gym after New Year's. The thing to resist there is not, well, if I can't start it before New Year's and be there with the newbies who are trying to keep things going, like, well, then I just won't go. It's a bad attitude to have. You know, the correct bad attitude to get rid of is thinking that your New Year's resolutions are made of glass. It's like, I will do this thing. For day 1, doing the thing. Day 2, doing the thing. Day 3, not really happy about doing it, but doing the thing. Day 4, missed the thing. Well, it's that resolution's gone forever now. I guess I never have to do it again. You know, like triple chocolate cake. I think of it more as points that you're trying to earn toward leveling up. This is a good context for the video game discussion that this started out with. So like I have things that I want to focus on and things I want to improve, but these are things that I've wanted to improve for a long time, and there's a lot of habit change that I resist, and there's some habit change that I form quite well. Like there's stuff that's really odd about me as far as habits and the way those are formed and maintained. It's very strange, and I need to understand that those things are strange and try to do something new about them, you know, handle them differently, rather than say, well, this year I'm going to do it differently, but this time it's going to be different. You know, I'm 36 now, so it's like, you know, I've said before in the videos, like, I'm starting to kind of get a hang of how I work, get the hang of it, you know, well, I shouldn't say far too late, but maybe this is when most people figure it out, but it's still good information to have, and I'll work with it. So I know that there are some things in which I cannot force myself. There are some parts of me that I would literally pay thousands of dollars to change. And over the last few years, some of those parts that I thought unmovable have ticked over or changed completely. So who knows? You know, maybe I can keep at it for long enough. I guess the trick is just not to quit. I was gonna say, you know, New Year's, I'm gonna get my work done. I'm gonna do stuff, yay! And I'm like, that's so cliche. But I realized that yesterday, I just kind of naturally was like, man, I should probably get those things going. I didn't even think about New Year's. I was just like, I realized that I had 3 circuit boards, little circuit board projects that were in my queue, and I was like, you know, those aren't that difficult. I could probably just like get started on them. Get started on one of them was the original idea, and then I did 3 of them, and I had to design new footprints for it and schematics for it. So it was not a process that I was comfortable with, but I just kind of did it, and in a few hours I got it and got the Gerbers submitted before bed at 1. And I'm just like, you know, we'll just get this started, and we'll just do this one, and we just might as well get the next one. And then I added it to my cart, and the small circuit boards are like $2. I'm like, okay, well, you know, the shipping, I might as well just add another one, so I can make that other one real quick right now, right? So I made another one, and then made another one. Like, okay, this is fine. I can ship this. I would be surprised. I guess at some point I would stop being surprised if there was nothing wrong with the circuit boards, because I did like create all those components from the ground up and use all my reference data to put them together. But it was a lot of data to collate, so we'll see. They're already ordered. I'll confirm that they didn't kick them back and be like, this is wrong, lol, what are you doing? Maybe I made some mistake there, but who knows? The circuit boards are, oh, that's good. It's an adapter board. Fits right here, kind of Star Destroyer shaped. So it fits in this area and adapts the teensy footprint or Pro Micro footprint for the Signum into a into a Heltec ESP32. It's a 18 by separated by 10 unit spacing, and all of the points are mapped to matching row and columns so that they're usable. So it's the adapter board that I was talking about. So that's the adapter board. It also adapts for an ATmega 328P, which I haven't function tested yet, but I've mapped them to pins that are useful, and if they're not useful, they'll serve as solder points anyway, so whatever. Again, these are just prototypes. And then the next one was that I'm trying out a pressure fit Raspberry Pi I2C breakout. So you would just take the circuit board. It has the pins mount at an offset so that they'll pressure mount onto the pins on the Raspberry Pi header. You take your Raspberry Pi and you take the circuit board and you kind of rock it on there, and then it just kind of fits on and friction fits. So there's no soldering onto the Raspberry Pi at least. And then it breaks out to the I2C headers that match the I2C headers on the Element 14 7-inch touchscreen, so that you can, you basically you can mount the Raspberry Pi. First of all, you can mount the Raspberry Pi upside down, and it breaks that out so that everything's flatter. And then it brings out those connections to one side, and they're on the same side as the touchscreen. So it makes everything mount lower, and it makes it easier to plug everything in, because this one plugs into this one plugs into this one, all down the line. So it makes that a lot easier to use, and there's no soldering potentially, or there's no difficult soldering, I should say. I might pre-solder, I'm not sure. I'm not even sure people should care for them. This is the $99 don't buy these circuit boards, although I'm feeling a lot less mean, I guess. Less ironic. But the last circuit board, he said, as he collected his memories and found out what that actually was. Oh yeah, cool. I made this little touchpad thing for the Heltec ESP32 with the display on board. So it's this little handheld computer, I guess, and I've got the buttons for it, and I've got the layout for it, and I kind of hate hand soldering at this point, and it was still small enough that it fit into the order. So it's just a bunch of buttons, and space bar, and appropriate number of buttons for QWERTY, and then I added some shoulder buttons to the area so that we'll be able to do function locking and shift layers. Excuse me. Shift layers and stuff like that. I posted a picture of it on my Twitter with the... I'll link it in the description, but that should make that build a lot easier to work with. It's kind of funny. I was designing the circuit boards, and I was like, man, this work is repetitious. I wish I had the ability to set up that the auto mouse and some more advanced macro building. I'm like, man, what happened to that project? Like, oh, I'm literally working on that project right now. Like, this is the project that enables me to work on that project. And I'm wishing that I had the final product, which is usually a good sign. It's like, I'm working on the keyboard, and I'm like, man, I really wish this was adjusted. And like, well, what are you doing right now? Well, right now I'm designing a new keyboard where this is adjusted. It's a good indicator that what you're trying to do is along the right path. Okay, I gotta go. This is getting ridiculous. So, circuit boards, I'll let you know how they go. Some shipments are going to go out either today or tomorrow. And, I'm not sure if it fits, if that adapter board is going to fit the 3.1. You might be able to, manually make it fit, but I'll test it when we get it. But right now, it just fits the 3.0. So, I'll let you know if the 3.1 fits.